Welcome back to another edition of the Cougar Coaches Show. I am Nick Earnshaw, radio station coordinator here at 91.5 WDBK-FM, Camden County College. And we have another returning guest this week previewing the baseball season, Coach Scanzano. Coach, good to be with you again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully it will be baseball season. The weather doesn't say baseball season, but it's here. The season hopefully is going to get underway very soon. First and foremost, I mean, what has this snow been like for you guys preparing for the season? I know you guys have had to go indoors. You've practiced out in the snow a little bit. Tell me what that's been like for your squad.
It's rough. I mean, it's been brutal. I mean, we should have probably 5-6 games under our belt by now. Since I've been here, this is the worst it's been. I mean, we've been normally playing by beginning of February and been outside every day. But this snow has been brutal. And then the fact that we had just gotten the field ready, perfect, thought we were ready to go, and then we got hit with another 17 inches. So I've been praying that a solar flare or something hits the field, but you know, we can't figure out how to get rid of the snow right now.
Well, you guys had a very successful year last year, 27 wins overall. Very good in conference play as well. I believe 17 wins in conference play. Talk to me about building off of that heading into this season for your squad.
Well, I'm excited about this season with this squad. You know, last year, I feel that team really exceeded expectations. You know, I was really happy with a 20-win season going into it. I would have been real happy. The fact that we won 27 and, you know, went to the playoffs, was the only team that went to a 3-game series in the playoffs, led the country in stolen bases. It was a great year last year. The big thing about this year's team, I think, is this is our best pitching staff that we've had. You know, we haven't had the depth. That's where we've ran into trouble, you know, playing against some of the powerhouses in our conference because, you know, Region 19, our conference is probably one of the toughest in the country, if not the toughest. I mean, right now we have preseason number 1 and 2 in our conference, and we play number 1 in 2 weeks, and we play number 2 in 3 weeks. So, but this year, the pitching staff, a lot of good arms came in. We brought in a lot of arms. We have depth there. I want to say we have about 15 arms right now.
Wow.
And that's not including like any position players or two-way guys that can eat up innings here and there. But, you know, I'm excited about that. Our defense, I feel like we've upgraded on our defense. We have our whole outfield returning this year with, you know, 2 all-region players, 1 a preseason All-American and Ian Monteith. So that's exciting. We upgraded on our infield. You know, I feel that the left side, we're very strong at shortstop and third base. Our second baseman's a returner, Matty DiMatteo. First base has been a battle out of 3 guys. It's tough to replace Ethan Arter. I got to be honest with you. I mean, you know, he led the Division III in stolen bases, and for a first baseman to have 55 stolen bases, and defensively, he was unbelievable. But we had a good core group over there, had a transfer, Penn State, Winston Yates, returner, Chase Krukevich, and another freshman that came in, Jake Otero, and they've been battling over there. So catching, we're going to be young behind the plate, but defensively we're strong. Just going to be curious to see how we do hitting. You know, we returned a bunch of guys that were top of the order guys last year, but we're going to have a lot of freshmen in the lineup this year that can swing it. But we averaged 11, 12 runs a game last year. That's a big number to match. But I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited for this team. I think this year we can win 30-plus games. So everything, you know.
Definitely. Hey, it's not far off based on last year's win total. You mentioned the pitching staff. That's something a lot of people are excited about heading into this season. A lot of depth there. Who are some names that people should be watching for that could light it up on the mound this year?
Well, we have Mike Falls returning. He was 10-1 last year. He's on a lot of radars right now. You know, excited about having him back. So he's kind of, you know, kind of our number 1. So excited to have him. We have 2 other sophomores, and Jimmy Staple and Mike Manera, who's a reliever. That was probably our best reliever last year. Jonah Jackson coming in, also relievers, are all sophomores. But then our freshmen, we have numerous freshmen. We have Nick Mokienko out of Delsey, Aiden Stranahan out of Pittman, are both, you know, 88 to 90 arms that just pound the zone, have great breaking balls. You know, I mean, I could list them all, but David Delarose, another Jack Wolfson out of Highland, JD Greenwood out of Gloucester Christian. These are all guys that, you know, throw with some velocity. I would say everybody's 84, 85 and up. But the big thing for me is they're all strike throwers.
Right.
Like, I don't have to worry. I feel like this year, now we'll see what happens when we get into the games.
Right.
But one of the big things for me this year is everybody throws strikes and they can throw multiple pitches for strikes. So that's exciting. Like, you don't have to be worried about what's coming in from the pen. Right now, I'm very confident in what we have coming in from the pen. And, you know, Rob Reddy, who, you know, was a top player coming out of South Jersey, was a Super 60 guy and probably should have been drafted if it wasn't for COVID. He's came on as our pitching coach this year. Now he's young. He just graduated a year ago, but bringing that, you know, attitude that he has, like confidence, like that's the one thing about Rob. He had a lot of swagger when he was a pitcher, pitched at the Division I level. I mean, you know, he was committed to East Carolina and went to Richmond and finished up at UNC Greensboro. But it's good to have someone like that kind of relates with them, is teaching them. Then we got a couple other guys that are helping us out. But he's really been kind of giving them that, making them comfortable and understand what it takes to be a pitcher in the college level.
As a collective, that unit, you mentioned you believe these guys are going to throw strikes.
Yes.
And a lot of times we've talked about this in the past, guys just throw instead of pitching. What has been the emphasis to this pitching staff as a collective throughout the offseason, through their training heading into the season?
It's been throw strikes.
Yeah.
It really has been. It's been, you know, I don't care if you have 2 pitches, 3 pitches, 4 pitches. I only want you throwing pitches that you can throw strikes. And, you know, at the college level, man, it's all about keeping guys all balanced. These hitters are good enough that if they recognize you don't have a curveball or you don't have a secondary pitch, they're going to sit on your fastball. And I don't care how hard you throw, they're going to hit it. You know, balls are going to be going out as hard as they're coming in.
Right.
So we've emphasized that, like, you know, velocity is great. And like I said, we have good, solid velocity throughout the staff. But the biggest thing for us was learning how to throw 2, 3 pitches for strikes, keeping hitters off balance, and teaching them to pitch to contact. Because with our defense, you know, a fly ball goes up in the air, our outfield flies. Like, you got 6'6", 6'8", and, you know, 6'8", like outfielders. So they're going to track everything in the air. Our center fielder, Billy Bentliff, returning second-team all-region guy. I think he's probably one of the best.
Not a basketball player.
Not a basketball player. But one of the best center fielders in the country. I mean, he tracks everything. They all have strong arms out there. Ian Monteith, who's the preseason All-American, and Chase Conway coming back, who just a tremendous athlete out of Timber Creek. So a ball goes up in the air, they're getting it. And that's what I'm excited about. And then our infield, like I said, defensively, we have Cole Hudson and E.J. Berger at third base. We got Colin Thompson out of Ocean City at shortstop. Matt DiMatteo at second base, who's a returner, who probably was our best glove last year. So I'm excited to, you know, see what they do. And that's our biggest thing, is telling these pitchers, you have a defense behind you that can glove it. So you don't have to try and strike everybody out. Pitch to contact. Just don't give up free bases. Don't hit batters.
Fundamentals.
Exactly. Keep guys off base.
Right.
You know,
fundamentals.
You know, things will lead into problems if we let people on base. So, you know, but no, that's been the biggest thing, is really just pounding the zone, throwing strikes, and not being afraid to let them hit the ball, because we're going to glove it.
You rattled off a couple of sophomores' names. What is your expectation for those guys with the incoming freshmen to help guide the freshmen throughout the season?
You know, that's one of the things we've been really blessed with, honestly. And it went from it's gone every single year since I've been here. You know, one thing that I've learned as a coach, it's not just about baseball for me. It's about, you know, trying to help these young men. It's trying to establish a culture. And I tell kids when I recruit them, is I'm looking for the right fit. It's not so much the most talent. It's the right fit. Someone who's going to come in, buy into what we're doing, buy into the family mentality, buy into the brotherhood mentality, because we can't accomplish anything unless we're all together. And that's what made last year's team successful. They were a tight core group of guys, and they came together and were willing to fight for one another, you know? And that's what kind of it's being passed down from sophomore class to sophomore class. These sophomores that returned this year, they've really embraced that last year, and they're trying to implement it with the freshmen that are coming in. And the freshman guys that came in, again, recruiting the right fit. they've been really kind of buying in and becoming a part of it. I mean, you have some guys that, hey, I want to play out with it, but they're learning, and they're going to see is if we're successful as a whole, it's good for everybody.
Right. You mentioned the schedule a little bit earlier and some of the teams that you're playing this year. You would have opened with Atlantic Cape. Are you still hoping to open with them?
Well, no. I mean,
they're going to get
our
moved.
home opener. Yeah, possibly. We're
Okay.
shooting to play them possibly next Wednesday.
Gotcha.
At home, as long as we don't get any more bad weather and the field. We have it tarped. We actually have two.
I know you guys were out there. I heard.
Yeah.
I sent a couple students down,
yeah,
and I heard you guys had the trucks out there.
Snow
everything.
blowers. We were trying everything, and we have a big tarp on the infield.
Yeah.
So the infield's going to be fine once we pull that. This field drains really, really well.
Right.
And we even have a tarp out in the outfield. Now it only took up a certain amount.
Nobody cares about the
spot,
outfielders.
But,
from my experience, no one cares.
Exactly.
They're going to play in the mud no matter what.
100%. But so our home opener should be Atlantic, possibly next Wednesday. We are traveling down to Anne Arundel this Sunday to play a doubleheader with their Division II program down in Maryland. So it's good to open up with them, get excited to play some high-level competition because we need that again. Because, like I said, our conference, is probably the tough. I mean, you have Gloucester, you have Brookdale, you have Salem, you have Cumberland, Northampton, Middlesex. I mean, these are top.
And what does that say about this region and playing in this region for players to go on?
A lot of good baseball out here. I mean, and the reason why is, I think, is, out here in this area in Region 19 for us, like we might have 20 Division III programs, only a couple D2s, which are further away, and then no D1. So the D3 programs up here are more like a D1, D2 program. Like there's no doubt in my mind, us and the teams I just mentioned, the Gloucesters, the Brookdales, us, we were going to go compete against anybody. Now you have these powerhouse D1s down in Florida and Texas. I get that.
They have nice weather too.
Exactly. They're playing, but but I wouldn't be afraid to compete against anybody. Yeah. And I think that's the big thing about our region is that's why the Division IIIs are so strong because we're pulling all the top talent. Like instead of going to, they're staying home playing around here, and they're getting on some really, really good teams.
I know you guys go to Myrtle.
Yes.
Talk to me and walk our listeners through what that tournament entails and going downtown to Myrtle. You guys do that on a yearly basis.
Yeah,
correct?
We try and travel on a yearly basis. 2 years ago, we went down to North Carolina, kind of did like a barnstorming tour, like kind of played JVs and stuff like that. Last year, because of the conference change in the schedule, it was tough for us to go anywhere, so we kind of held off last year. And this year, now we're going to do the Myrtle trip, which is basically, it's a lot of baseball in a short amount of time. We're going to play our conference series on Friday and Saturday against Brookdale. We're going to travel on Sunday. We'll get down to Myrtle for Sunday night, and then we play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday 2 games, Thursday a single game, and then we're driving back on Thursday night to get ready for a conference series on the following weekend against Montgomery.
That's a schedule.
Yeah, so it's a lot of baseball in a short amount of time. But again, we're excited to because you're on nice fields. You got really nice weather down there, and it's good bonding for the team. And to get down, everybody's going to play. Like everybody, I've already told the team, like if you can throw a strike, you're going to be pitching at some point that week because I don't care how many pitchers you have. You're going to be needing someone to eat up some innings and stuff like that. So, but that's pretty much what it is. It's a chance to get away, play on some nice fields in the Ripken complex, get to spend time together away from class, away from everything, and do some dinners and some fun activities and stuff like that, and then come back ready to go and finish out the season.
It sounds like a lot of fun. We're definitely excited to get the season rolling. We need nice weather. Let's hope it continues to roll on. Before we let you go, I do want to hit on something you mentioned earlier regarding the offense. You're losing a couple players from last year. A lot of speed that was out there last year. You led the conference in stolen bases. Like it was unbelievable, all the numbers you guys put up. Do you think the pitching will make up for that a little bit this year?
Yeah, I think the pitching and defense is going to make up for it. However, we still have speed. We brought in speed. So, and we returned Billy Bentliff, the center fielder. That's one of the best base runners I've seen. I think he had 40-something stolen bases last year. Chase Conway and Ian Monteith both had somewhere in the 30s last year. We've brought in speed too. Like, there are some guys that, or hopefully they're going to hit for power and do what they do there. But I would say throughout the lineup, we have just as much speed as we did last year. Now, we got a catcher that can run. Now, I don't know if like last year, Donnie Gomez had 20 stolen bases.
Right.
For a catcher, that's a lot. So
that is a lot.
But I feel like our catchers all our catchers have some wheels. So I think we're going to make a run at that. I don't know if we're going to, accomplish what we did last year, but
you're still going to be aggressive.
But we're going to be aggressive. Yeah. One of the biggest things for us is causing chaos on the base path. We want to run. We're going to run. Yeah. We're on base. We're running. They got to defend it. So we want to put pressure on that defense. And, with the top of our lineup, we got a lot of speed in there. So guys are going to be moving.
It's going to be exciting to watch. I know our students will be out there broadcasting a few of those games. Hopefully they get to call a lot of stolen bases from you guys and some wins this year. Coach, anything else you'd like our listeners to know heading into the season?
No, we're just excited about the season. I hope to get people come out and, you enjoy good baseball. It's going to be good baseball. I mean, I've had old timers reaching out from the 72 class, and people are excited about the baseball program again. I had a gentleman reach out. I can't remember his full name, but his nickname, he introduced himself as Mudcat. And he played on the 1972 Camden County baseball team. And they're like excited to watch, and they want to come out. And, we want to do stuff to try and honor them, but we want to get our alumni involved, get people out here watching the games, try and maybe honor them.
Right.
But we're excited about the season, and hopefully, they're, the student body and everybody's excited as we are.
Yeah, well, we're excited over at WDBK. I know our students are excited to broadcast those games. Could be a lot of fun. Coach, thanks for taking a couple minutes to preview the season.
No problem. Thank you for having me, and look forward to seeing you guys out there.
It'll be a lot of fun. Coach Scanzano from the CCC Cougars baseball team right here at Camden County College. I am Nick Earnshaw, radio station coordinator. This was another edition of the Cougar Coaches Show. We'll talk to you next time right here on WDBK.